Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. Please give me your undivided attention. This is sort of lengthy, depending upon the situation you find yourselves in right now. You might not want to complete it all in one setting. However, I recommend that you do. That you don't separate your thoughts, that they are consistent and together. For in it you will find the purpose of this message. For 40 years, I have directed my pursuit after a great, beautiful life for all people. As a social scientist, I strived to find reasons for the public at large to establish peace between one another. I've searched for reasons to overcome public lying, crime and violence and poverty, cheating and stealing and killing, even terror and war. I have studied, dreamed, and planned prosperity for all citizens to the extent the essentials for survival are guaranteed to every living individual. Food, clothing, shelter, education, and health care. All humans need at one point or another. My research revealed that the current system of socioeconomics is set up to address the common needs of humans and American citizens as well. However, the system used is flawed. It begins with an unleveled playing field. This system is built on race superiority, bloodlines to the gods, a few owning the resources of the earth that humans and Americans require. Further, it is required that you labor for crooks that pay unfair wages, poor benefits, exorbitant costs and prices for survival needs, followed by a police to force adherence to such malfeasance. To maintain their accomplishment, systems permit taking land possessed by others and forced slavery, destabilize other people's land, murder, rob their resources, and any resources that you desire of third world countries, all the while leaving the so-called inferior people to hustle, to work long hours, second jobs, some of this crime and violence and stealing, black markets. Well, what are you trying to do? To make ends meet or to get a little extra to ease the pain of life. Also, at this conduct, creating hatred, creating bigotry, creating racism and poverty, and the biggest prison population in the world, and more churches per capita than any other place in the world. The tools used to commit all this malfeasance, deceptions, guns, prisons, and money. They are the tools. And this is the United States of America. This represents the world. The purpose of my research was to determine if a better outcome is possible. If so, how and what? I got my answer from the strangest place, the Spirit. No one I encountered had an idea or thought. First, I was introduced to travel around the country and speak wherever the opportunity presented itself. I was to inform the people they are on the path to hell, but subconsciously look for a walk through life from hell to paradise, meaning we are in hell, observe and see the way out. I am told that God is the parent and every human on earth by God are family sisters and brothers, here to live as in heaven. Each individual has a purpose and a role to play in this life of heaven on earth. Each action of an individual complements the actions of another. Together, they meet the needs of food, clothing, shelter, education, and health care to everyone on earth, including Americans. Humans were deceived by and in believing that money is the answer. The truth is, purpose and outlet and appreciation for your contribution is the birthright of all. It is your greatest gift in life. Your requirement for survival is icing on the top. Translated, your gifts are not for sale, nor to be bought. In fact, they are gifts from God through you to one another, making all foods, all clothing, all shelter, all education, and all health care free to every human on earth and Americans. It is your relationship with one another and your gifts for careers that make heaven possible on earth and America. Not superiority, not human shade, nor nationality, nor money or gold, nor guns. It is knowledge of God, respect, and love for one another. Let me tell you that again. The things that make life wonderful and all that it is intended to be, it is not superiority, it is not human shade, nor nationality, nor money or gold, nor guns. It is, however, knowledge of God, respect, and love for one another. However, where are we? Should I say, nevertheless, where are we? In hell. 40 years I have only met a handful of support. None from the church. No support from the governors of various states, nor from the various U.S. Congresses of the past 40 years, or U.S. presidents. Several of my children sacrificed college to support the message I bring. Yet, today I find myself alive in the spirit of love and God, and that the people will awake and enjoy the great gift of life by God. To sum this up, ladies and gentlemen, to sum it up, our nation is going through a crisis today. Everything that people who have trusted superiority, who have trusted in money, who have trusted in anything other than God, it is happening on this earth today, and much of it is happening in America. But for 40 years I've walked backwards and forth across this country, telling you the message of God, serving you as an angel, delivering a message of peace and prosperity and happiness, and the way that it's supposed to be. To recognize the relationship that human beings have with God as God's children, and understanding that God is not like your next door neighbor or the guy down the street. God is love. And in preparing a place for you to live, made it possible for all of those essentials for your survival are present. They are in the earth, on the earth, above the earth, seen or unseen. And the gifts to extract them for their purposes lies in each of you to play a particular part in the creative process of all these things in such an abundance that none would ever be without it. You don't have to lie, cheat, steal, kill, terrorize, war, or be a bigot, or be a racist. You don't have to be superior. All you have to be is a child of God, a brother or sister, that treat others as you want to be treated. And you can live as if heaven on earth. Your farms won't be shut down. They won't be closing down the country. They won't be fighting about a wall. They won't be complaining about what the Black Lives Matters are doing or White Lives Matters are 99%. All of these things will liquidate themselves into nothing, ladies and gentlemen. All of it. I am convinced of this as an angel, and this is why I've sought after the office of president at least 3 times, but without raising money. You see, money is a tool to screw you up, because where the money comes from, that's where the control comes from. And I don't want anybody to think that money comes from God. So if you're on your knees praying to God for money, you're not talking about the God that I'm talking to you about. You're talking about that demonic God. The God I speak to you about is love. You don't need money. All it needs is respect for God and one another, and treat people like you want to be treated. And there is no heaven anywhere that can beat this heaven designed by God and brought into reality by you. So I say to you, those candidates talking about being the next president, they are so upset with the current president. They think they can do better, and perhaps they can. But it's not good enough. It's not good enough for me. And God says it's not good enough for you. And that's why I'm here today. The choice is yours, however. And I must also indicate that I'm caught up in the same thing that you're caught up in. So what I am going to have to do is break laws that I'm confronted with here in this system as I go from day to day that prevents heaven on earth. I got to stand up to the challenge. I got to stand as a representation for God before the world. And let it come as it will. Let it allow as it may. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much. Those of you who voted for Trump, I hear you saying right now you love what he's doing when it comes down to how it affects others. But when it affects you in a negative way, I hear you complaining just like everybody else. That should teach you something. That should teach you something. That everybody, doesn't matter who say they're going to do it for you. Everyone who is affected by others' action is insufficient to make your dreams come true. And it is by my understanding what you do not understand that I take this moment to share with you that if you want life, you got to make a change. You got to be born again. You got to forget the lies of the history of the past. You got to just accept what you have discovered to be the truth. And if you can accept what you've discovered to be the truth, then you can fill in the blanks that were left by the removal of the lies. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my sisters and brothers, it is as sweet as it can possibly be. You'll never see a person like Donald Trump. You'll never see supporters like those that are standing behind Donald Trump. You'll never see those who are of the liberal and democratic persuasion coming to you saying what they can do to you, because they will have learned that what they used to could do or what they thought they could do was nothing in comparison to what God has done, because you gave it power. You gave it your power. You made it as real as you made conservatism, as you made liberalism, as you made Democrats and Republics. You made it real because you said yes to God. Now, need I say more? Yes, I do. But I'm not. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.